A well-structured day is not created by accident. It is created by intention, discipline, and a clear understanding of what truly matters. Most people wake up and immediately allow the world to control their attention. They check their phones, read messages, scroll through social media, answer emails, and respond to whatever appears in front of them first. By doing this, they begin the day in a reactive state. Instead of deciding what is important, they allow other people, notifications, and outside demands to decide for them. This is one of the biggest reasons people feel busy all day, but still end the day feeling as if they have achieved very little. The foundation of a productive day begins before the day actually starts. When you take a few minutes the night before to plan your next day, you give your mind a clear direction. You are no longer waking up with confusion or uncertainty. You already know what needs to be done, what deserves your attention, and where your energy should go first. Planning the night before is powerful because it allows your mind to prepare while you sleep. Your subconscious begins organizing thoughts, solving small problems, and helping you feel ready when the morning comes. This simple habit can completely change the quality of your day. If you do not plan at night, then the first thing you should do in the morning is create your list. Before checking your phone, before opening your email, before reading the news, and before allowing distractions to enter your mind, sit down and write out everything you need to complete. This list becomes your roadmap. It gives you a track to run on. Without a list, your day can easily become scattered. You may jump from one task to another, forget important responsibilities, and spend too much time on things that do not move you forward. But when you work from a list, your thinking becomes clearer and your actions become more focused. A written list is powerful because it takes the pressure out of your mind and puts it on paper. When everything is only in your head, it can feel overwhelming. You may feel like you have too much to do, but you cannot clearly see what matters most. Once you write it down, the chaos becomes organized. You can look at your tasks, compare them, and decide which ones are truly valuable. This is why successful people use lists and checklists. They do not depend only on memory, emotion, or mood. They use systems. A checklist helps them move step by step, reduce mistakes, and complete work with greater confidence. After creating your list, the next step is to organize it by priority. This is where real productivity begins. Many people make the mistake of treating every task as equal, but every task is not equal. Some tasks are small and easy, but they create very little value. Other tasks are difficult, uncomfortable, or time-consuming, but they create major progress. The key is to identify the few tasks that matter most. This is where the 80-20 rule becomes important. In most cases, a small number of tasks will produce the majority of your results. If you have 10 things to do, 2 of them may be more valuable than the other 8 combined. To find your most important task, ask yourself a simple question. If I could only complete one thing today, which task would make the biggest difference? This question forces you to think clearly. It separates the important from the unimportant. It helps you avoid the trap of spending your best energy on low-value work. Many people start the day with small tasks because they are easy. They answer emails, organize files, clean up small details, or handle minor requests. These things may feel productive, but they often delay the work that truly matters. Real progress begins when you start with the task that has the greatest impact. Once you identify your most important task, begin working on it immediately. Do not wait until later. Do not first clear small tasks to feel ready. Do not delay it because it feels difficult. Start with it while your energy is fresh and your focus is strong. The first hours of the day are often the most valuable because your mind is clearer and your willpower is stronger. If you spend those hours on your highest value task, you can make more progress in a short time than many people make in an entire day of unfocused work. One of the strongest productivity habits is single handling. This means choosing one important task and staying with it until it is complete. Instead of starting, stopping, checking messages, switching tasks, and coming back later, you give the task your full attention. This kind of focus creates momentum. Every time you switch from one task to another, you lose mental energy. Your brain has to restart, refocus, and remember where you left off. This wastes time and reduces quality. But when you stay with one task until completion, your concentration deepens and your output improves. Success in life comes largely from completing important projects. Starting a project is easy. Talking about a project is easy. Planning a project is easy. But completing a project is what creates results. A project is usually made up of several smaller steps. When you break a big project into a clear sequence, it becomes less overwhelming. You can create a checklist, follow the steps one by one, and continue moving forward until the work is finished. This method turns large goals into manageable actions. The more you practice planning, prioritizing, and completing your most important tasks, the more control you gain over your time. You begin to feel less stressed because you know exactly what to do. You stop wasting your best hours on distractions. You stop confusing activity with achievement. Instead of asking, "What should I do next?" throughout the day, you simply follow your plan. This gives your day structure and your mind confidence. A productive day does not require you to do everything. It requires you to do the right things in the right order. You may not finish every small item on your list, but if you complete the most important task, your day can still be successful. This is a major shift in thinking. Productivity is not about being busy from morning until night. It is about producing meaningful results. When you focus on high-value activities first, your work becomes more effective and your progress becomes faster. Every day gives you a new opportunity to shape your future. The actions you take today become the results you experience tomorrow. If you plan your day carefully, choose your priorities wisely, and focus on completing your most important work, you will begin to see real improvement in your performance. Over time, this daily discipline can transform your career, business, goals, and personal life. A successful life is built by successful days, and successful days are built by clear planning, strong priorities, and focused action. The way you structure your day determines the way you structure your life. A day may look small when you see it by itself, but every day is a building block. Your habits, your focus, your discipline, your decisions, and your results are all shaped by what you repeatedly do from morning until night. People often think success comes from one big breakthrough, one lucky opportunity, or one powerful moment. But in reality, most success is created through ordinary days used in an extraordinary way. When you learn how to take control of your day, you begin to take control of your future. One of the biggest mistakes people make is starting the day without direction. They wake up and immediately move into activity. But activity without direction does not always create achievement. A person can be busy all day and still not be productive. They can answer messages, check emails, attend conversations, scroll through updates, handle small tasks, and still end the day with the feeling that the most important work was left untouched. This happens because they never clearly decided what mattered most before the day began. Without a plan, the loudest task usually wins, not the most important one. A productive person understands that the first battle of the day is the battle for attention. Your attention is your most valuable mental resource. Wherever your attention goes, your energy follows. If your attention is captured by distractions early in the morning, your mind becomes scattered before the real work even begins. This is why checking your phone immediately after waking up can damage the quality of your day. You may think you are only checking one message or one notification, but very quickly your mind is pulled into other people's priorities, other people's opinions, and other people's problems. Before you know it, your focus is no longer your own. To protect your focus, you must begin your day with intention. This means deciding in advance what you will do, when you will do it, and why it matters. A written plan gives your mind a target. It removes confusion and reduces hesitation. When you know exactly what you need to do, you waste less time thinking about where to start. You do not have to negotiate with yourself every few minutes. You simply follow the plan. This is one of the reasons why writing things down is so powerful. A plan that exists only in your head is easy to forget, easy to change, and easy to ignore. A plan on paper becomes visible, concrete, and much harder to avoid. The night before is one of the best times to prepare your next day. At the end of the day, your mind already knows what is unfinished, what needs attention, and what problems must be solved tomorrow. If you take a few minutes to write these things down, you close the day with clarity instead of stress. You no longer carry all those thoughts into sleep. You give your mind permission to rest because the plan is already written. Then, when you wake up, you are not starting from zero. You are starting from preparation. This habit also helps you overcome procrastination. Many people procrastinate not because they are lazy, but because their next step is unclear. When a task is vague, the mind resists it. If you write, "work on business," your brain may feel overwhelmed because that instruction is too broad. But if you write the first page of the proposal, call the client, or prepare the outline, the action becomes clear. Clear actions are easier to start. The more specific your list is, the easier it becomes to move forward. A strong daily list should include everything that requires your attention, but it should not treat everything as equal. This is where priority becomes essential. If you only make a list and then start from the top without thinking, you may still waste time on low-value activities. The list gives you structure, but priorities give you power. Once everything is written down, you need to ask, which of these tasks has the greatest value? The answer to that question should guide your first action of the day. The 80-20 rule is one of the most useful ideas in personal productivity. It teaches that a small number of activities usually create the majority of results. In your daily work, this means that not all tasks deserve the same level of attention. Some tasks may be necessary, but they are not life-changing. Some tasks may feel urgent, but they do not create meaningful progress. Other tasks may be difficult, but they are the ones that move your career, business, income, health, or personal goals forward. Your job is to identify those high-value tasks and give them your best energy. A powerful way to find your highest priority is to imagine that you are suddenly called away and can only complete one task before leaving. Which task would you choose? Which one would make the biggest difference? Which one would reduce the most stress, create the most progress, or produce the most valuable result? This question forces you to stop hiding behind small tasks. It makes you honest about what really matters. Often, the task you most want to avoid is the task that will produce the biggest reward. Once you identify your most important task, the next step is immediate action. Do not wait for the perfect mood. Do not wait until you feel ready. Do not say you will do it after checking email or finishing smaller tasks. Start with the important task first. This is where discipline separates successful people from average people. Average people often begin with easy tasks because easy tasks give quick emotional satisfaction. They feel productive because they are crossing items off a list. But successful people know that the value of a task is not measured by how quickly it can be completed. It is measured by the result it creates. The most important task often requires concentration, courage, and mental effort. It may involve making an important call, writing something difficult, solving a complex problem, creating a proposal, studying deeply, recording content, editing a major project, planning a business strategy, or making a decision you have been avoiding. Because these tasks are harder, the mind naturally looks for escape. It says, "Let me check one thing first," or "I will start after a few minutes," or "I need to clear my small tasks before I can focus." These excuses sound reasonable, but they often protect procrastination. The cure is to begin. Starting creates momentum. Once you begin working on a difficult task, resistance usually becomes weaker. The first few minutes may feel uncomfortable, but after that, your mind starts to engage. You begin to see progress. The task becomes less frightening. This is why the first action is so important. You do not need to feel motivated before you start. Often, motivation comes after you start. Action creates energy. Progress creates confidence. Completion creates satisfaction. Single handling is one of the strongest ways to increase output. It means focusing on one task until it is finished. In a world full of distractions, this habit is rare and powerful. Most people are constantly switching. They write for 5 minutes, check their phone, answer a message, open another tab, think about something else, return to the task, and then repeat the same cycle. This constant switching destroys deep focus. It makes work take longer and reduces quality. The brain performs better when it can stay with one problem long enough to fully enter it. When you single-handle a task, you give yourself the chance to work deeply. Deep work is where valuable results are produced. It is where you solve difficult problems, create strong ideas, make meaningful progress, and produce work that actually matters. Shallow work keeps you busy, but deep work moves you forward. The more you train yourself to stay with one task, the stronger your concentration becomes. Focus is like a muscle. If you constantly interrupt it, it becomes weak. If you train it daily, it becomes powerful. Project completion is another major key to success. Many people have unfinished projects everywhere. They have unfinished plans, unfinished content, unfinished ideas, unfinished courses, unfinished business steps, unfinished goals, and unfinished promises to themselves. Every unfinished project carries mental weight. It quietly drains energy because your mind knows it is still open. When you complete a project, you remove that weight. You free mental space. You gain confidence. You prove to yourself that you can finish what you start. To complete projects consistently, you need to break them into steps. A large project can feel intimidating when you see it as one big task. But every large project is simply a chain of smaller actions. If you want to write a script, first you choose the topic, then create the hook, then outline the main ideas, then write the body, then edit, then prepare the title, then create the thumbnail, then upload and optimize. If you want to grow a business, you define the offer, understand the customer, create the message, build the system, reach the audience, follow up, and improve the process. Every big result can be divided into smaller steps. A checklist makes this process easier. It removes uncertainty and gives you a clear sequence. When you complete one step, you move to the next. You do not waste time asking what to do again and again. Checklists are used by serious professionals because they reduce mistakes and improve consistency. Pilots use checklists. Surgeons use checklists. Engineers use checklists. Successful business leaders use checklists. A checklist does not make you less creative. It protects your creativity by removing unnecessary confusion. A well-planned day should also include time blocks. A time block is a specific period dedicated to a specific task. Instead of saying, "I will work on this today," you say, "I will work on this from 9 to 11." This creates a stronger commitment. It turns an intention into a schedule. Tasks that are not scheduled are easy to delay. Scheduled tasks have a place in your day. They become more real. Time blocking also helps you protect your best hours for your most valuable work. Your best hours should not be wasted on low-value activities. Every person has a time of day when their energy, focus, and creativity are strongest. For many people, this is the morning. For others, it may be late afternoon or evening. The important thing is to know your own pattern. Once you understand when your mind is at its best, protect that time carefully. Do not spend it on random messages, easy chores, or social media. Use it for the work that requires your highest intelligence and deepest focus. Energy management is just as important as time management. You can have time available, but if your energy is low, your output will suffer. A productive day requires you to pay attention to sleep, food, movement, breaks, and mental recovery. If you are exhausted, distracted, or physically drained, even simple tasks become harder. High performance is not created by pushing yourself endlessly without rest. It is created by using focused effort and strategic recovery. Work hard when it is time to work, and recover properly when it is time to recharge. Short breaks can help maintain productivity throughout the day. The brain is not designed to focus intensely for endless hours without pause. After a strong period of focused work, a brief break can refresh your mind. Stand up, walk, drink water, breathe, stretch, or step away from the screen. The purpose of a break is not to fall into distraction. It is to restore energy so you can return with better focus. A good break supports your work. A bad break pulls you into a long cycle of wasted time. Another important part of structuring your day is learning to say no. You cannot be productive if you say yes to everything. Every yes costs time. Every yes takes energy. Every yes removes space from something else. If you say yes to too many low-value requests, you will have no time left for high-value goals. Successful people are careful about what they allow into their schedule. They understand that protecting time is not selfish. It is necessary. You cannot produce meaningful results if your day is constantly controlled by other people's demands. Saying no does not always mean being rude. It means being clear. It means knowing your priorities and respecting them. Sometimes you can say, "I cannot do that right now." Sometimes you can say, "I can help later." Sometimes you can say, "This is not something I can take on." The more clearly you understand your own goals, the easier it becomes to protect your time. People who do not have priorities often become trapped in other people's priorities. Your environment also affects your productivity. A cluttered, noisy, distracting environment makes focus harder. A clean, organized workspace makes it easier to begin and continue. You do not need a perfect office, but you do need a space that supports concentration. Remove unnecessary distractions. Keep the tools you need close. Put your phone away when doing deep work. Close extra tabs. Make the task in front of you the easiest thing to focus on. The more friction you remove from productive work, the easier it becomes to do. Digital distractions are one of the greatest enemies of productivity today. Phones, notifications, apps, messages, videos, and social platforms are designed to capture attention. They do not wait until your work is finished. They interrupt whenever they can. If you want to produce at a high level, you must create boundaries with technology. Turn off unnecessary notifications. Check messages at planned times. Do not allow your phone to sit in front of you during important work. If possible, keep it in another room. You cannot do your best thinking while your attention is constantly being pulled away. Email should also be controlled instead of allowed to control you. Many people begin the day by checking email, and as soon as they do, their priorities disappear. Email is usually a collection of other people's requests. Some are important, but many are not. If you check email before planning your day, you may spend your best energy responding instead of creating. A better approach is to complete or at least begin your most important task before opening email. This puts your goals first. Then, when you check email later, you are responding from a position of control. A strong daily structure should include review time. At the end of the day, take a few minutes to look back. What did you complete? What did you avoid? What took longer than expected? What created the most progress? What distracted you? This review is not about blaming yourself. It is about learning. Every day gives feedback. If you pay attention, you can improve your next day. Without review, you repeat the same mistakes. With review, you become wiser and more strategic. The end-of-day review is also the perfect time to prepare tomorrow's list. Look at what remains unfinished. Add new tasks. Choose your top priorities. Decide what must be done first. This creates a smooth transition from one day to the next. You end the day with clarity and begin the next day with direction. This cycle builds momentum. Each day becomes connected to a larger purpose. Purpose is important because productivity without purpose can become empty. The goal is not just to do more things. The goal is to do the right things that lead to the life you want. Before you fill your day with tasks, you should understand what kind of future you are building. Why do these tasks matter? What goal do they support? What person are you becoming through this work? When your daily actions are connected to a meaningful purpose, discipline becomes easier. You are not just completing tasks, you are building a future. This is why successful people often think long-term. They understand that today's effort may not produce immediate rewards, but it builds tomorrow's results. The workout you do today strengthens your future health. The skill you practice today improves your future income. The content you create today may reach people tomorrow. The relationship you protect today may support you for years. The discipline you build today becomes part of your identity. Every meaningful result begins as a small action repeated consistently. Consistency is more powerful than intensity. Many people work hard for a few days and then stop. They get motivated, make a big plan, push themselves, and then burn out. Real success usually comes from consistent effort over time. A clear daily structure helps you stay consistent because it reduces the need for constant motivation. You do not have to wake up every day and reinvent your life. You follow a system. You plan, prioritize, focus, complete, review, and repeat. This rhythm creates stability. The more you follow this system, the more productive you become naturally. At first, planning may feel like extra work. Prioritizing may feel slow. Single-handling may feel difficult because your mind is used to switching. But with practice, these habits become easier. Eventually, you begin to feel uncomfortable without a plan. You begin to notice distractions faster. You begin to protect your time more seriously. You begin to think like a high-performance person.